Good evening, everyone. My name is Tiffany Robinson, and I am nervous. My voice is shaky, but I signed up and I'm here. So let's begin. Let me put some disclaimers. When I'm excited, my voice gets high and I start to talk fast. So if somebody will just be like, hey, like I can't understand, just give me a signal. But I'm happy to be here, and I sit before you to talk about my journey of self-discovery. And I'm not gonna go back to childhood, but I'm gonna go back to early 2016. So early 2016 was very interesting for me. It was a year of growth, and again, the beginning of a process of self-discovery. So with self-discovery, for me, it's just like, what do I want to do? What do I want to be when I grow up? Granted, I'm older, but yeah, what do you want to do? How do you define purpose? What are some of the things that I desire to do? How do I want to show up in front of people? What are some of the spaces that I want to navigate? And yeah, that was the early beginning of 2016. So how do you begin to answer those questions? So I said, I'm going to network. And for me, networking is really getting out of your comfort zone, like tremendously. For me, it's very uncomfortable intentionally surrounding yourself around strangers, around new people and new environments. So I chose to begin networking. In June of 2016, I attended my first official networking event as a grad student. So essentially, I wasn't completely unaware of how to network. Yeah, I never literally threw myself in the water and just dived in and began the process. So June 2016, I went to my first networking event, and it really just began a tremendous process. So it was really cool, really fun, meeting a lot of different people. My first event, I was able to meet a rap star's wife. So I was just like, this is great, this is gonna be fun. I have a knack for this. I can talk to people, I can meet people, I can do all these great things. So trying to figure out who I am and what I want, and intentionally surrounding myself around people, you're exposed to different stories. You're exposed to different things that people like, different things that people do, what's hot, what's not, so on and so forth. And then in the midst of that, as I said, as a grad student, you also at some point know graduation is fastly approaching, so you need to start trying to find a job where you want to use your degree and things of that nature. So again, networking served multiple purposes. So the first networking event was in June of 2016, and then I transitioned into my first networking event, which is great, and then I continued just to meet a lot of amazing people. And a lot of the people that I continued to meet were a lot of entrepreneurs. And as I'm gradually going through grad school, I realized that I had a knack for entrepreneurship. So a lot of the entrepreneurs, oh my gosh, my body is shaking, you guys. I am so nervous. Oh my, look. Can you tell? Oh my gosh. All right. Whew. And that was a commercial break. Press play. All right. So as I said, you start to learn different things while you're networking. And oh my gosh, I forgot where was I at in my story? Thank you. So yes, entrepreneurship, and I started surrounding myself by a lot of different entrepreneurs. So I essentially were surrounded around the people that had those tremendous, transitioning stories. Like they left their job, they packed up their home and flew away, or did one of those really miraculous stories to dive into their purpose after they found out who they wanted to be. So then I started thinking, grad school is about to be done. Who do I want to be? Where do I want to work? And who do I want to be surrounded by? So I said, maybe I have to start looking outside of New Haven. For leadership and what I want to do, a lot of the jobs aren't available on the market. A lot of people started telling me to look in DC, look at the major companies, Amazon, and things of that nature. So I start, as I'm networking, looking for different jobs. And at some point, graduation comes. All this lovely networking, I'm exposed to all these different ideas, different people, what's hot, what's not, where you should be looking for jobs. Still haven't landed one. I graduate, May 2017. I'm done. Grad school, woo! You're in the real world. I already was, but now it's really real. You have more money, more education, more things behind your name, but you need to be able to pay your bills. So May 2017, I graduate, and it's a great milestone, but again, this is a story about my journey to self-discovery. I'm still trying to define who I am as a woman, again, who I want to be surrounded by, who is going to see me, who is going to hear me, not only as a individual personally, but professionally in the work field, now that you have a degree, and everything. So it's my birthday, September 27, 2017. And again, I said, I'm networking, I'm constantly networking. And I said, on this day on my birthday, I'm going to go to New York by myself and surround myself by a bunch of random people. So on my birthday, I'm networking, and I go and I meet all these wonderful people, and I do all these wonderful things. And this gentleman asked me 2 questions. He said, I don't know how we got on this topic, but he said, so where did you do your undergrad? And I was like, Central, And he was like, where is that? And I'm like, in Connecticut. He's like, okay. And he was like, where did you do your graduate degree? And I'm like, oh, Albertus. And he was like, where is that? I said, Connecticut. He was like, you never left your state. You never left your home. You never left your nest. And I was like, I wanted to stay in Connecticut. And for some reason, of all the questions that people ask when you're meeting different people, some reason that really resonated with me, that pricked something in me. If anything, that was affirmation that I needed to go. I needed to leave. I needed to spread my wings and fly outside of New Haven. So that's September. I'm a little bit, I wouldn't say an overachiever. I think that's the wrong word to use, but when I have my mind set on something, I go for it. So that was September 27th. By mid-October, I was in DC at a networking event at a conference, surrounding myself by more strangers, more random people to learn different things. But on the way to this networking event, again, now that I'm done with school, I also want to do my PhD. So I go to Howard. I go to a networking event, stop at Howard before I go to this other event. And again, I'm looking to find a new job, and I'm looking to find a career, and I'm looking to find a lot of different things. And I don't like it. It doesn't sit, I don't connect. I don't know. I don't want to go move to DC. So I finish this event, and I come back home, and I'm just like, okay, I'm starting to learn who I am. I feel like my influence and my legacy and the things that I want to do are becoming clearer, and I kind of want to continue to not be here. So now I got to start from scratch because I don't want to move to Washington, D.C., because again, that was my next bet. So I'm sitting on the steps of an event space. I'm supposed to be helping someone set up their event. I'm not being very diligent at that. So I'm looking on the internet, and I find a school that has their leadership program, and it was really cool. It was the only HBCU in the United States that offered this wonderful program. So I'm like, this is it. Okay, I'm going to North Carolina now. Remember, I'm done with DC. I'm going to North Carolina now. I'm adamant. So this is early October. Then I'm still shaking. I don't know if can you guys smile? No, look, thank you. I know, great. No, I feel it. No, I don't have to name it, but I felt like it'll make me feel better. I'm still shaking. Oh my gosh. All right. So yeah, where was I again? Okay, let me change my position. Okay, October, North Carolina. All right. So October, North Carolina. I'm very spiritual, so now that I know that it's affirmed that I'm going to North Carolina, okay, how am I going to get there? The first week of December, I get a phone call from my father. I have a very estranged relationship with the man, but he called me and he said my grandmother passed away. Now, this defines how estranged the relationship is. I'm thinking my grandmother still lives down the street. 3 years ago, my grandmother moved to North Carolina and bought a house. So again, this is a very interesting timeline. First week of December, she passed away. Now, I used to work in retail, so getting out as a manager. So as a manager, granted loss happens, you can't prepare for death, but telling your district manager you gotta leave to go to North Carolina 3 weeks before Christmas in a top volume store in Connecticut is unheard of. But the last words that I said to my father before I hung up the phone was, Daddy, I'll let you know when I'm there. I didn't have a plan, didn't have a flight ticket, didn't look at how I was getting to North Carolina, but I said I was gonna be there. Again, I'm on this journey to self-discovery. This is the other side of the family. I haven't seen these people. I don't know these uncles. I know I have cousins. They're in North Carolina. So I hang up the phone. I notify people in Connecticut. We make plans to get to North Carolina. And lo and behold, when I put in the address of my grandmother's home, it was only 1.5 miles from the university that I said I was going to. So my mind is blown. I'm like, God, this is it. I'm going to A&T. This is divinely orchestrated. Yes, I'm grieving my grandmother's past, but the setup, she's 8 minutes from A&T. Like, this is a no-brainer. And then while I'm down there, so essentially everything got cleared away. I was able to go to North Carolina to bury my grandmother. And while I'm down there, one of my aunts was a director. Never met the lady. She was a director at A&T. Right? So I'm like, oh, I'm in there. Like, I'm really excited. I'm going. This is great. This is good stuff. So now that I know that I want to go there, now you do your due diligence. You do the GRE, the GMAT, you do all the logistics, you meet the deadlines, you do all these great, wonderful things. January, so now everyone, I'm very adamant and I'm focused. I'm going to North Carolina. I'm so focused on going to North Carolina that my lease is up January 31st. I sell everything in my apartment. Yeah, we're not gonna do all that. I sell it all. Anything that wasn't gone before I moved out, I dropped it off at Goodwill. That's January, right? So now we're in 2018. Beginning of this year, I'm like, yes, I'm going to A&T. I got connections. I did the due diligence. I'm smart. I'm doing the GRE. Great, I'm going. I do everything I need to do, submit it. April comes, I don't hear anything. First week of May, I find out who is responsible for the program and I call them. No answer, I leave a wonderful voicemail. Maybe my voice will persuade them to let me into the program. So I leave a wonderful voicemail and he eventually calls back and I'm preparing myself to go to work and very casual. Oh, sorry to tell you, but yeah, the program, the funding was cut. So the faculty was cut. So we have to take less students. So of 300 that applied, only 7 were accepted. I was like, I couldn't breathe. And the reason why I couldn't breathe, because on this journey of self-discovery, I let go of a lot, not only personally, but tangibly. Like I sold everything, I'm adamant. I moved in with a sibling to a very small room. I saved my money, I'm like, I'm going. The only things that I had to go with me could fit in my I have a coupe, Honda Civic. I sold it all. I was like, my clothes, that's it. I'm doing it. Like, I'm going for it. I didn't get in, which was fine. Not really. I say that now because I'm far removed from the situation, but I did go into a very dark space. No one really knew what was going on the inside, but I was hurt. I was crushed. I had not intentionally, literally intentionally and deliberately put myself in a predicament to align myself for my future. I've never made that many decisions in a year time span to align myself to do such a wonderful thing. PhD, all these elaborate things. I had the opportunity to get a new job. I still hadn't landed one. I never stopped applying to jobs. I never landed one. So I didn't get into A&T. And that's May, and we're in December. So in these past 7 months, like I said, I'm very spiritual. So I felt like that whole experience was my desire for my life, my will, something that I thought was gonna make the impact and the legacy that I wanted to do and how I wanted to interact with people outside of Connecticut. But one thing that I had to remember is that everything starts at home. And I was born here. And now that I'm knowing who and whose I am, I was ready to take that elsewhere, states away, miles away. Yet, I'm sitting before you today, not only with a job in the city of New Haven, but with a property in the city of New Haven. So I'm fully committed to the city of New Haven, sitting before you right now. And it's really interesting to me. So this story is only the beginning of a new process. And that's why I wanted to sign up. It's just like, okay, I'm networking. Let me network differently and share my story and continue my journey to self-discovery by sharing my story and see who we connect with. So that's where I am now, and that's my timeline, and thank you for listening. That's it.